Currently one of the most controversial acts in the world, the Irish hip-hop trio Kneecap, who back in April ignited worldwide headlines when they performed at Coachella and were subsequently accused of supporting terrorism after that performance. Now, we saw the likes of Sharon Osbourne even calling for their visas to be revoked. She really stood against this act. Now, to make matters a little bit more complicated, you had Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine in a recent interview saying that the group was the Rage Against the Machine of today. Now, Tom Morello recently served as the music director for Sharon Osbourne's husband, the icon Ozzy Osbourne, at the Back to the Beginning concert, where Disturbed frontman David Draiman was also on hand to perform. Now, he didn't take too kindly, as we recently discussed, to Morello, who he says is a friend, saying this about Kneecap. In fact, he called it shameful. And now you have the group Kneecap forcefully responding to David Draiman after he publicly criticized the act, and Rage Against the Machine's Tom Morello. Here's what we know. The Irish hip-hop group Kneecap just fired back at Disturbed's David Draiman, calling him a straight-up after he slammed Tom Morello for giving them props. To recap quickly, this all stems from Morello, the Rage Against the Machine guitarist, hyping up Kneecap in a recent interview as the modern version of his band, praising their raw political edge and how they're channeling the same anti-establishment fire. Draiman, who's been very outspoken about his pro-Israel views, hit back on July 12th, saying, "Shameful, truly. Wish I could say I was shocked. Guess my family doesn't count when it comes to my friends virtue signaling for those who support terror and incite Jew hatred." Kneecap, the group from Belfast, didn't hold back on July 13th. They posted that controversial photo of Draiman from a couple of years ago where he's smiling and signing Israeli artillery shells. Their caption read, "We don't care what religion anyone is or if they've got one at all. We love all sound. Smiling and signing bombs dropped to murder kids and other people's families just makes you a straight-up simple as. Free Palestine." For some context on Kneecap, they've made a name for themselves by mixing hip-hop with their local roots, speaking out against issues in Ireland, and now global ones like Palestine. Their debut album, Fine Art, dropped recently, and they've got a semi-autobiographical film out that's been winning awards. But they faced backlash too, like getting pulled from festivals over alleged ties to militant groups, which they've denied, saying it's just solidarity with oppressed people. Now, of course, David Draiman has some very personal ties here. He's Jewish, he has family in Israel, and he's been very vocal about defending the country, especially after the October 7th attacks. Now, he recently addressed those boos at Ozzy's final show, calling them from Jew-hating morons. He's also shared stories about meeting hostage families, obviously emotional sit-downs that can really have an impact as they have on David. He responded to Kneecap's post right away, breaking it down in a series of tweets. He said, "Here's the thing, and I'll speak to you in small words so you understand. That shell was meant for Hamas. You know, the organization who has sworn to murder all Jews, not just Israelis, time and time again, including my family. You shoot at Jews, expect Jews to shoot back. All innocent lives lost in this conflict are due to Hamas using their own people as cannon fodder so that they can gain the sympathy of those who are only too eager to jump on the Jew-hating train. If the hostages were released and Hamas surrendered, the bloodshed would end." He kept going, adding, "But neither you nor Hamas really want that, because without dead, martyred Palestinians to fuel your zeitgeist, both you and them lose power. Enjoy your 5 minutes, gentlemen. It could have been done with your art, but instead, you choose to do it with hatred. Bye now." Again, this feud kicked off earlier this year when Kneecap performed at Coachella in April, flashing pro-Palestine messages on screen behind them like Free Palestine and critiques of Israel's actions in Gaza. Again, Draiman posted a photo of himself flipping the bird back at them, captioning it, "Here's some uncensored messaging for you pathetic virtue-signaling morons." Of course, Kneecap and supporters like Morello see them as standing against oppression, drawing parallels to Ireland's history with colonialism. Fans who back Palestine are rallying behind them, frustrated that speaking out gets them labeled as hateful. And on the other hand, Draiman and pro-Israel supporters view it as ignoring threats from Hamas, the hostages still being held, and the attacks on civilians, making Jewish fans feel targeted or unsafe. Now, at this point, there's been no further dialogue between these two artists. Obviously, they couldn't be further apart in their opinions or beliefs. And as of now, Tom Morello also hasn't responded to the comments from Disturbed frontman David Draiman. Of course, we'll let you know if he does. That's your latest update here from Rockfeed. Be sure to subscribe and notifications on for the latest news and updates. Shout out to the Feed fam for all of your support. We've got the supporters up on the screen. You can join at the link in the description.